Hi, everyone. This is Gail Minogue. I am the numerologist, and I'm looking at our vice presidential candidates, and I find somewhat very interesting. I know nothing about this gentleman. He's just come on the scene today. His name is Timothy James Walz. He is the Democratic candidate for vice president, just announced this morning. And so I thought, who the heck is this guy? I never heard of him. Most people have never heard of him. So I thought, well, perfect, because I can just be neutral and see what I say here and say what I see in Timothy James Walz, W-A-L-Z. He has a life path of the number 3, and he is also a destiny of the number 4. What does that mean? Life path is the road you're going to walk on in this life. This you cannot change. Can't change your date of birth. You can lie about it. That's okay. But it was never registered. We look for what was registered. And this was his date of birth, was April 6, 1964. He is 60 years old. I thought he was much older. He looks older to me, and which I found kind of ironic. He's born the same year as the candidate for president, and Kamala Harris. And so I just think he looks a whole lot older. But anyway, Timothy James Walz is his name, with a destiny of a master number 22. Very powerful. Now, what does the master number 22 mean? That means the destiny of this gentleman. That's his entire name at birth. This is a destiny. It's pulled out of that name. All the letters in that name resulted in the final number of 22, which is what we call the master builder. And the master builder goes into the archetype world and sees there what to build out here in the material world. So these are people who build things that last beyond their own death. So I don't know what motivates him, but I have some ideas and I can share that with you. But his destiny is to build something that lasts even after he's gone. So this would be a situation, say she gets elected and then some reason exits the scene and he became president. He would then build something that would last well past his time on earth. So it's kind of interesting, because anyone with master numbers, you always kind of pay attention. And these are 11, 22, 33, 44, double digits. These are considered people on missions or assignments. And so he's definitely on an assignment of some sort with the number 22. He also is born with a 3 life path. So this is a communicator. There's a person who can make you feel better, kind of joyful. I don't think he's a very depressed person, but I don't know him. But he's a communicator. He could speak and say anything. Easy, creative, all that kind of business. Remember I said he's a 22 destiny. That base number is 4. This is the worker. This is the I want to see results person. I want to see results. So he was actually a social studies teacher. So, he's born in Nebraska, and he's now in Minnesota as the governor. This is his second term. So he was able to get past, he won re-election. So that's pretty decent. He also was a congressman, and he has spent 24 years in the National Guard Reserve, or National Guard, whatever. So he also, looking at this, as far as, I don't think he ever aspired to really be past the governor, but you never know. He has a time of life that he's in is the number 6, which means that, we go through these times of life and then the situation changes. And if you listen to what I said about J.D. Vance, you heard me say that the time he's in is this, but the time he's going to next year is extremely different. So the time that this gentleman is in, Walz is in, is the number 6 environment. So he's entered room number 6 for the remainder of his life here on earth. What does that mean? That means responsibility. That means service. That means correcting social injustice. There's the 6. Okay, there's the 6. So this is a time period, if he was in this position, where these would be areas that he would be very interested in. There's always a cause in a period number 6. Save the whales, help the battered domestic victims, whatever it is. So he's in this arena. He's in room number 6. That's not his destiny. It's not his life path. But he's in that environment where he can be of, quote, service, also correct some things that it always has to do with justice and mercy. I don't know how it will play out. I have no idea. But I just see this time frame. So this would be a time, I'm not surprised he's entering into a political situation. He's already in a political situation. He's been in a political situation for a long time. He doesn't have what I call advanced degrees or any of that business. He was a social studies teacher. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just, it's not glamorous. And he came from a very, very, very middle class family in Nebraska. I think he was born in Nebraska, but he lives in Minnesota, and that's where he is the governor now. Now, the interesting thing about Timothy James Walz's chart is that he has no missing letters. So there's no missing numbers in this chart, which is pretty interesting, because when we have a missing number, that's an area that we want to go towards to fix, or it's a prompt for our lives. It helps us, pushes us forward, and he didn't come in with any of that. So the nice part about it, he didn't come in with any karmic correction in this lifetime. So it's like, ho-hum, that's okay. The sky is falling, not to worry, that kind of stuff. So he's kind of like upbeat, and but he's a fighter. That's another thing. In his chart, he has a lot of it's weird, a social studies teacher, but he's got a warrior underneath kind of energy. I'll fight you. I'm like, really? And yeah, really. And he's a charmer who will fight. And he's so disarming looking, because he looks like your grandfather to me. And even though he's only 60, I can't believe that. To me, he looks like somebody 10 years older for sure. So his energy is young. His look is old, but his energy is young. And see, he has no missing numbers, no missing letters. So when we have that condition in a chart, we call that working with Dharma. Well, what is Dharma? That's another Indian term, like karma, Dharma. Karma, you're working on something from the past that you're balancing out. Dharma means you have to learn to know exactly what to do with the situation at hand without making future karmic stuff for yourself. So for instance, I'm giving a set of circumstances, very emotional, everybody's blowing up or accusing me of something. What's the correct position for me to take at that point, where I don't go overboard and get over angry or don't say anything? That's Dharma. You have to know everything to keep that situation in balance. So people who don't have missing numbers, they think, well, they're getting away with everything, et cetera, et cetera. No, they have to practice Dharma. Don't go overboard. Don't underdo it. And the other thing, too, with missing numbers, it indicates they've been to the earth plane many, many, many times. Maybe that's why he looks older. I don't know. But he's been to earth lots and lots of times before. So nothing is that thrilling. Say, hey, we all going to go to Vegas this weekend. Well, I think I won't go. I have to do the backyard gardening. What are you talking about? But see, he's been here before. Nothing is really that exciting. Nothing. But he'll do it, but it doesn't have to. He already did that, 3 or 4 lives ago or something similar to it. The other thing, too, he had a lonely childhood. That doesn't mean he wasn't cared for or fed or clothed, but he wasn't emotionally supported as a little kid. So I don't think people knew how he suffered. It's like the kid who is spoken about as if they're not even in the room. It's like, what do you think Johnny would like for dinner? And Johnny is standing right there, but they don't ask Johnny. They just go ahead and make their plans. So there's this emotional lack here from early childhood. And there is always a need for him, because of that, to escape. So say as a little kid, maybe you go sit in the driveway in the backseat of the car and be by yourself and cry or whatever. So as you go into adult life, you need to create healthy escapes for yourself. And so I bet this guy, Timothy, when he goes to a party, he needs to know, how can I get out of this when I need to? How can I leave this group, get out of this room when I need to? There's always a need to get out of something and know in advance how I'm going to do that because of this old condition. The other thing too, is this gave him, as an adult, it gave him the ability to speak to people who are not mentally well. So he could go into, say, an institution where they were hospitalized and be able to speak to them. He knows, because he knows at some level the suffering they went through mentally, because he went through some of that as a young child. Nobody will talk about this. It's right there in his chart, right there. And the other thing too is that he has a very good gift of gab. Funny, he can be funny. He has, so I would say, witty. He's kind of witty. I think he's the person who said that, if I'm not correct, I don't know, correct me, that he's the person who came up with, with the term weird for his opponents. And that is not surprising. This guy can be witty, he could charm anybody, but he's a fighter. And that is, it's going to be very compelling, because he's the guy, if you're out with him and there's a big puddle, he'll put his cape down for you to walk over. You know, he has that kind of chivalry in some way. There's kind of an old chivalry mode in here, like Guinevere and King Arthur or something weird like that. But he is, when he speaks, he understands, which is very important, the language of the streets. Most people don't know the language of the streets. When I say that, they don't know the language of the marketplace. They don't know how to get down and dirty in their conversation. This guy knows how to speak the language of the street. And so I think when he said the word weird, everybody could relate to that word. And that's the language of the street. Whereas some people say it's just rude and it's stupid, and it goes, you know, it's mean. But if you know the language of the street, it's like good bargaining when you're out on the street with a bunch of, you know, salespeople on the street. They know how to do it, and you know how to speak their language. So he does know how to do that. That's a gift. But overall, when you have somebody who doesn't have karmic lessons, that's a blessing overall. However, he is born on a 6th day. So this is a guy who really, really has the need to take care of you, fix it, and give advice. That kind of stuff, kind of like, I would say, fatherly stuff like that. He definitely will be in there. Not that, I don't think vice presidents have much power at all. They're kind of showpieces, you know. But they're basically used to get people elected. That's their main job. Pick a good vice president candidate and let them go out and run around and do what you don't want to do or what you can't do. And so they're most useful as candidates trying to get elected for the president. But if he was elected, it would be right down his alley. I mean, say she drops out, it would be right down his alley, because he has, first of all, that 22 destiny number, the master number. He doesn't have any karmic numbers to take care of. And he also is in the 6th environment where the responsibility level is so high. He doesn't shirk from responsibility. He's born on a 6th day. That's really very responsible. What he doesn't have here, well, he has enough kind of fiery energy. That's okay. Maybe a bit more of that feeling nature. I don't know if he can express it, but that feeling nature where we're sensitive, or we read the feeling nature of people. He is, again, he's got 3 master numbers. He's got 11 personality, 11 soul number, huge. And those are inspirational, what I call light workers. If I take the word light, L-I-G-H-T, it's a number 11. It reduced to an 11. These are the workers of the light. So he's got a personality of the light and a soul number from past lives of the light. J.D. Vance has a personality of the 11 light. So both of these people, both Timothy and J.D., can inspire other people. So it'll be interesting to see how they play out during this election. But I think, you know, the environment that he's going into, Timothy, is terrific, because it's the 6th environment where I get to be and take care of and help you and all that kind of stuff, which is very much involved with presidential stuff. But this is something where there is a mission assignment in this guy's chart with a 22 destiny. He's on assignment to try to build something that will last for America. I don't know what that is. But anyway, I am so grateful that you watched this far and long, and thank you very much. And if you need to get in touch with me, please do so. I get comments, and then people do get in touch with me, and they want a private session, and I'll be happy to do that and answer your questions with you regarding anything that's going on in your life, your chart, your future, what have you, or your past. It's all there. Thanks for listening. As you can see, if you've been following my channel with various people and names and things that I work with, I know nothing about these people. I've never met them, but I can tell a lot about their own lives, and there's a lot more. But it's interesting just to present what you see here. So if you need something like that for you, and you want to go deeper into your issues or concerns or questions or direction, this week I did a session for a woman 87. I have another session tonight of a woman who's 80. People, you know, life is 120 years. What are we doing? So please get back in touch with me and let me do one for you and help you to straighten out and prevent things, and so that you don't waste your time, energy, and money in this lifetime. Thanks again.